Welcome to ELIJA Farm, nestled in the heart of Huntington, New York, where sustainability and community come together to grow something truly special. As a nonprofit, ELIJA Farm is dedicated to cultivating high-quality, organically grown produce while supporting education and wellness initiatives for individuals with Autism Spectrum Disorders. Every season, this community-supported farm brings fresh, nutritious food to its members, fostering a connection between the land and the local community. Join Debora Thivierge, founder and executive director, and I as we go behind the scenes to discover how ELIJA Farm combined environmental stewardship, education, and community impact to create a healthier, more inclusive future. I'm James Webster. This is Owners and Operators.
The farm was founded in 2016.
Very cool.
And
what was your, I'm sorry, what was
That's okay. The ELIJA as a whole was founded in 2002.
So the school 2002, the farm 2016.
Correct.
And what was the purpose for starting it?
So our school program supports kids who are on the more severe end of the spectrum. So that school program has up to 32 young students from the ages of 5 to 22 years old. And it's a very intensive educational setting. And as those children age out, we don't have a young adult program, and the farm became a wonderful opportunity for us to extend our program for vocational training, for jobs, for having a different setting for learning. And so when that happened, we were presented with the opportunity to purchase this property by Larry and Heather Foley, who live next door still. They own the land and very involved in open space. And they didn't want it to be developed. It could have been developed for 7 one-acre homes.
Okay.
And they would have made a fortune on the real estate deal. But they grew up as farmers, and they loved open space. And their parents, who lived in this house over here that they were caring for, the most important part when they passed was they wanted the property to be sold for best and highest use.
How did you come up with the name for the foundation?
So it was hard because we were trying to come up with something that was symbolic of what we were feeling at the time. As a young mother with a child with autism, you have a lot of stress and anxiety and nervousness about the future and your life ahead of you, because as a young mother, I think I was 28 at the time, I was like, my life was stopped in its tracks. You know, you go on this pathway and you're like, it's gonna be great, I'm gonna get a house and have kids, and they're gonna go to school, and and that, at 20 months old when my son was diagnosed, that was not on the table anymore.
Music stops, right?
Music stopped. Yeah. And so we tried to come up with something that was relevant. And so even though I'm not very religious, we saw something about empowering parents, Long Island. It's a journey. And then somehow we stumbled on ELIJA, Prophet ELIJA, ELIJAH. And we were like, oh, empowering Long Island's journey through autism. What are we doing with the H? Just drop the H. And so that's what it's about, empowering Long Island's journey through autism. Most people don't know it, so they do think we're a little bit of a religious organization.
How does ELIJA generate, it's a nonprofit, but revenue still necessary in order to operate. So how does ELIJA generate revenue?
So we have revenue through many different lines. We run educational programs on the farm, which is our biggest source of revenue. The other source of revenue is our CSA. So community-supported agriculture is something that's very typical in the farming community. And what happens is people buy into a share, and they pay it up front. So the share is anywhere from $500 to $1,000 based on how many people you want to feed in your home. And you give the money to the farmers up front. So that gives them money to buy the seed and to start growing and to pay for labor, so that by June, when everything is growing, you have 16 to 18 weeks, depending on how you participate to pick up every week your vegetables. So that gives the farm revenue. It gives us purpose. Because our adult learners with autism and volunteers and community members and our neighbors are all helping in the growing of those vegetables.
Sure.
And it's a huge project.
What do we have here at the farm? Obviously, we've been talking already about some of the produce that you generate. Do you have animals? What type of animals? Is there a purpose for them, or are they just here because we're on a farm?
So our farmers, Chris and Rena, Chris is the director of our farm and Rena is the assistant manager. And they're very committed to having a biodynamic farm, which means everything that's here works off of each other and has a purpose. So water will bring, ducks and frogs and all these things that add to the biodiversity of keeping the environment going. So we have ducks, we have chickens. Of course, the chickens give us eggs. The chicken also create fertilizer for our farm to keep the soil nutrients. Then we have quail. So the quail do the same thing that ducks and chickens do, but they give us quail eggs and we get chicken eggs, and that helps with our marketplace. People love fresh eggs.
Yeah, of course.
Then we have rabbits. Rabbits do contribute to the farm, but they are more of, they were donated by families. So they're pretty rabbits. They're not wild rabbits. So they're nice to hold and pet. And then we have, on our way, we have goats coming. We've been trying to decide if we feel safe having the responsibility of taking care of the goats, but we do have a friend of our farm who's been trying to convince us. So they come for the fall festival of goats, and this last round we think that we could probably handle having goats, and that will add. They're amazing. They're like lawnmowers, and they contribute to the maintenance of the farm, and they eat a lot of the things like weeds and things that we don't need. Plus the kids and the adults can walk them, pet them, and feed them. And then if we want to delve into goat cheese and milk and stuff like that, it could be another source of revenue for us.
Another possibility. The operations for the farm, who handles the marketing or the accounting? And obviously it is still a business that's being ran. Although not for profit, it is still a business.
It is, I always tell people a non-for-profit is the same as a for-profit. It's just where the money ends up at the end of the day.
Yep.
We have an accounting department with 4 amazing people that just love, looking at the bills, paying the bills, creating spreadsheets for the team and our board. But basically, we have 4 people in our finance department. We have outside auditors because we meet the threshold to have required yearly auditing, independent auditing. And the beauty of ELIJA is since we have multiple entities, that department really handles everything. So the farm, as the newest entity, benefits from having a single source of kind of managing everything, accounts payables, accounts receivables, and managing all of that. And then I have to oversee all of that.
How many employees are here at the farm?
So, year-round, we have 5 full-time employees, and then in season, which usually starts around April, we could have up to 10 to 12 in totality.
There's a lot more to do. And what are the different roles and jobs that a student can do while they're here?
So if they're volunteering or they're part of a learning group, they'll have, depending on season, because it's seasonal, right? So we start out with planting the seeds in our greenhouse, and so that's an activity. There also is sifting the soil to make sure there aren't twigs and other things in it. So we buy organic soil that comes out of Vermont. It's the most nutrient soil that there is, so that we get the best yield from our vegetables. And so planting the seeds, which is a really amazing experience, a lot of repetitive work and handwork with soil. And then as the season goes on, you're taking care of those seedlings and their growth, so a lot of it is watering and maintaining them. And then April, May, June, we start to transplant, and that's a fun experience.
Has the vision for the farm changed since you started it?
Well, the vision of the farm, we actually created a strategic plan when we purchased the farm with the original owners, because I valued what their vision was, because it was their family farm for 50 years. And they really had a vision of this being busy with people and supporting people with disabilities and people who had mental health issues and people who wanted to work here because they had lost loved ones, and it was a way for them to just kind of have respite and a sanctuary for them. So we've had that strategic plan for a while, and I think last year, Chris, our farm director, we sat down and we re-evaluated our strategic plan. And it's so helpful because we keep moving closer and closer towards that original vision, which is we're a farm, but it's really about the community and supporting them and finding more ways that we can reach people to come and have an experience here and enjoy the open space. But 2 years ago, Larry and Heather, the original farm owners, came over to me in tears, and they said to me, "This is what we always dreamed of." And they could never achieve it because they were two people trying to survive with their kids and make that farm that they wanted. And to me, that was like the most amazing experience.
Yeah, very rewarding.
To know that anything after that is bonus.
Sure.
Because this is so special to them. And they're elderly now, so we know that the last purchase for us is going to be their home, and so we have to figure out what we're doing with that.
Is there anything that we haven't gone over today about ELIJA that you would love for people to know?
So I think the most important thing about ELIJA as an entity is that our organization started out as a behavioral organization. So we are grounded in science-based treatment for children with autism. And it sounds like really technical and really annoying and stressful and not like very natural. But the work that we do is really skill building. And it is really natural, and it is really fun and reinforcing, and it's allowed us to translate a lot of the work that we do in skill building and education into things that generalize into just general daily living. To be able to work on the farm and have the skill to do it and have a severe developmental disability is amazing, because people who don't have the access to skill building can't even enjoy a regular day at a park or go out to dinner with their family. So we're rooted in quality of life, and the work that we do is about teaching those skills so that the family can have enjoyment with their children regardless of how severely impacted they are with autism. Mm-hmm. Whether it's more behavioral and they do have language, or it's more lack of ability to communicate and low skills, not being able to just do general daily living skills. So to me, that's the most important thing, that people understand why this is happening. It's not just like a free-for-all, let's go have a party at the farm. It's really about giving a platform for skill building that has so many other components to community that is vital for our young adults, children with autism to learn.
Oh, that's awesome. Debora, thank you so much for welcoming us here and showing us around. Thank you for spending time with us at ELIJA Farm. We hope you've enjoyed learning about their commitment to sustainable farming and community enrichment. If you're interested in discovering more inspiring local businesses and initiatives, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for upcoming features. And if you or someone you know would like to showcase a business or organization, leave a comment below or reach out to us directly. Together, we can continue supporting the meaningful work happening all around us. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Owners and Operators.